Alright, so our interaction system is looking pretty good, but unfortunately, we're just automatically interacting with whatever we touch. And what I want is a UI to pop up to tell us to press a button. And then when we press the button, the interaction will happen. And we're going to have to create an input UI to accomplish this. And today we're going to get all the art assets ready. So for all you Picassos out there, stay tuned. Everybody else, we'll get through this. Alright, so in Jira, create an input icon UI task. Follow this description. It's an art and engineering task. And put it under the interactions system. And yeah, that's all set in here. So now we can move over to our board as we take the task into the board and then move it into in progress. And the next thing we need to do is download a program called GIMP. And what that is it's essentially Photoshop, but free. It obviously isn't as good, but I don't want to make you guys get Photoshop to do this. So we're going to get into it. And just follow the installation like I'm doing here. Just default settings is fine. And now we're going to have to go visit our old friend, the P4 Typemap. So go into a command prompt, type in P4 Typemap, and enter, and it'll bring this open. And you need to add this line right here, so that Perforce has any idea what to do with the GIMP XCF files. And just close out of there, and it'll save. But now we're going to go to Pixabay and get some royalty-free images. So you have to make an account to be able to download anything. So do that. And then we're going to go in here and search for an Xbox controller. We need a generic gamepad, but that obviously isn't going to come up. And what's very important is we need one that shows the triggers and the bumpers. So we'll keep going, and this one right here shows both of them. So that's good. Because basically what we need this for is to show how the input works. And I'll just show you how the Pixabay license works. So yeah, we pretty much can use this image with no attribution, as long as we don't go selling it on our own marketplace. And because we're good people, we're going to shout out the people who made these images, and we're going to put them in the credits. So I'll cover that as well. And you want to download the vector graphic for all these images. And I'll skip ahead till it's downloaded. And now we're going to get a keyboard, because we need a keyboard to show our key inputs. And this one looks pretty good. So we'll select this. So same thing, we're just going to press download and then select the vector graphic and good stuff. And now we need to grab a mouse as well. So we'll do that and just say PC mouse. And by the way, I'm going to throw the links in the description to whatever I pick here, so you guys can follow along. So don't worry about finding the exact thing. And download the vector graphic again. And we should be all set getting assets. And we need to go into Perforce. And as you can see, we never actually added the credits to source control. So we'll add it to the default change list for now. And we'll go in here. We'll cut these out of downloads. Move over to our non-engine content. Make a new folder. And we'll call it input icons. And we'll paste these in here. And now we need to make a folder for mouse, keyboard, and gamepad. There we go. See, I call it controller, but it's actually called the gamepad in the Unreal input. So we'll throw that in there, throw the keyboard in the keyboard, and the mouse image in the mouse. And we'll make a folder and call this icon, not icons. just to be consistent with what I did earlier. And now we're going to open up GIMP, and that's going to take a lot longer than me. But in terms of the credits, just make sure you add those 3 lines because that's the images we used. Alright, so we're going to press New inside of GIMP and make it 1050 by 750 in terms of resolution. And we're going to Control S to save this, and we'll navigate to our folder that we just made. Alright, so go to mouse, because this is going to be the mouse icons we're going to be making. And just call this input icons mouse. And here we go. And now we need to make the background transparent by pressing the add alpha channel and then alpha to selection. And then just press the delete key when you're on the background, just like that. And now we'll drag in our mouse image .ai. I don't know what that extension is, but it seems to work. And we're going to lower the resolution a bit. And if you press the arrow, it'll adjust to keep the aspect ratio. So just match mine. And you'll see we need to make it a little bit smaller. So to do that, go to Layer, Scale Layer. And just keep manipulating this. 850. And yeah, that's pretty good. And we'll move it as close to we can to the middle. Okay, that's looking okay. And now we're going to erase the little wire at the top, because we don't need that. So we'll go over to the left and press the little eraser and get rid of that. And we need to go over here and adjust the hardness to 100%, because we want the eraser to erase what we're actually selecting and not leave a whole bunch of stuff behind. So now we're going to go into the layers menu, which is this in the bottom right here. And we're going to make a new layer. So right click, new layer. And we're going to call this left button. There we go. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to fill in red on top of the button. So we press the little draw tool, and we're just going to make this some version of red. Don't worry about having the exact same shade as me, it'll be fine. And we'll adjust the brush size as needed. And we're going to go along the whole outline of the left button. And I'll skip ahead until that's done, as fun as it would be to watch me draw. And then we can increase the size, just like that, and fill this in. And again, I'm going to skip ahead until it's done. See, look how beautiful that looks. Now we'll make a new layer and call it right button. And make sure you make a new layer. And we're just going to do the exact same thing. And again, I'll skip ahead. Now I'll make the brush a little bigger. And we'll fill it in. And again, I'm just going to skip ahead until this is done, as fun as watching me draw would be. There we go. And you see now we have both buttons filled in. And now we need to start exporting these. And first we're going to do just the mouse. So press the little eye icon on all of them except for the little mouse. And now we'll export as PNG. And we just want to call it icon mouse. And throw it in that icon folder and then export. And then this window might take a while to pop up, so just be patient and then press export again. And now we're going to do the right button. Okay, looks good. And icon right. And we'll export this. Icon right button, sorry. And we'll export that, press export again. And we'll do the left one. So export as. Icon left button. and export, and export again. And now we have the finished controller icons. And as you can see, I just made the controller black and white and lowered the brightness, which you will be able to do on GIMP. And then I just have circles along the various buttons, and then the fill-in for the triggers and bumpers, along with little direction arrows for the actual joysticks. And as I get into the keyboard ones, which are literally just little boxes around all the keys, you'll notice that I pasted them in from Creators, which is the other project I'm working on. And a little peek behind the curtain, so to speak, the way I make this series is by doing things first inside of Creators and then repeating them into this game. And because this is a really tedious art task that I couldn't stand doing the first time, I decided to just make the mouse icons for you guys live on the video, and then just paste over what I did previously. As fun as watching me do the same thing over and over again for the 3 hours that it took me to make all the icons, I figured you guys could handle this on your own. And even though I used Photoshop to make the creators' icons, the result will be exactly the same. And I'm proving that by using the GIMP ones that we made for the Hide Seek Survive project, so you guys can see that the icons you make in GIMP will be just as good. In terms of should you buy Photoshop, I bought it for myself because I hate doing art stuff, and anything that makes art stuff a little bit easier is worth it to me. But GIMP works pretty well, and I actually used that for a really long time. So that decision's up to you. But rest assured, shelling out money for Photoshop will never be a requirement for this course, and I will be showing everything in GIMP, just like I did today, moving forward. Alright, so now we're going to go into here, and we're going to make a UI folder in the content, and then assets. And then we're going to make a folder called input icons, and another folder for mouse, and then for keyboard, and then for gamepad. And we're just going to paste everything in. And by the way, the reason we're doing everything this way is because it's going to make things much easier when we make the widget in the next one. So just trust me on that, because another way of doing this would have been making a single box and then moving it around in the actual UI. And just trust me that this way is going to be a lot easier on the Unreal side, and it's going to be worth the extra effort we put in today to make these assets. Also, in terms of file size, because most of the image is actually transparent, the file sizes on these are really, really, really low. Even though there are so many icons, like here, literally one for each key, it really doesn't matter from a file size perspective. And we'll save those. And don't worry that the background appears white, it is transparent, as I'll show you in a second here. But we're going to go into here, we'll grab our gamepad icons, and we'll drag those in as well. And as we open one up here, so you can see what it looks like in Engine, thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.